Okay, it should be coming. Hello, hello. Welcome to this week's Cosmic Conversations. I am Stacy Harder with my mom, Dr. Heather Harder, and it's going to be a little different because I'm not going to be on here all the time. I have to leave to go pick up my phone. So I'm sorry, my Instagram friends. If you're seeing this on YouTube, welcome. If you're live with us on Zoom, welcome to this week's Cosmic Conversation. It is a big week, astrologically speaking. So it's kind of a lot happening. There's, I believe, a lot of stuff coming up for a lot of people. So what a powerful week to be able to have conversations around. But I do believe that there are no accidents. And in this week, expect kind of the unexpected. I think there's going to be a lot of clearing out of anything that's no longer vibrational fit for you. So if you're intentionally healing or letting go things, then you're probably going to see a lot more of that. One of the ways the astrology has been put into terms is it's like expect like volcanoes and earthquakes, like things that shake up, explode, and be big. So it is Saturn, which is always the lessons, and it's like that fatherly, the intensity, and it's like the stuff that you really came here for. So it's like you have to really go through it extra hard. And it's like a father will spank you, but teach you long ways. So it's kind of like that. You might get a little beat up, but it's really there for your soul's growth. And then Neptune and Mars. So it's a lot in this little couple days. So, and because we still are coming out of the Mercury retrograde, there's still in effect, I think, till July 7th or 10th, of where communications and technology stuff could be having some issues. And I know that's for me, which is why I'm not on Instagram, because I don't have a cell phone right now. It is at the repair shop. So bless, hopefully it'll take care of itself. But I'm going to pass it on to mom. And when I do pass it on to mom, that means that I also will be heading out because I have some stuff to do. So welcome. Yay! Some of our YouTube or our Instagram friends came on already. So awesome. Glad to see you. You're just getting on. I'm going to miss you on this call. I'm going to give it to mom, and I need to go pick up my phone and do some things because of timing. All right. I love you. I hope you're having an amazing time. Mom, do you want to say anything before I head out? All right.
Enjoy.
Perfect.
Get your work done. Learn your lessons. Bye-bye.
Sometimes family isn't it amazing how family can just say little things that just, they know just gets in you. Okay. Thank you. All right. That's it. So go ahead and take on over, and I will do my buttons and head out. Be safe. Speak.
Okay. Give me. I'm waiting for you to do your thing and head out as you told me to. Again, welcome to July 1st to 2021. We are in the magic month of July, where, as Stacy said, astrologically, things are going to be exploding. I don't know astrological information. I know energy. And so June had lots of things going on below the surface. July is bringing them to the fore. So we're going to see lots of things happening. Keep an eye out in every direction. And there are no accidents. It's all happening for our greatest good. And that is what to keep in mind. This is part of your moving into leadership, moving into mastery. Just enjoy the journey. Before we actually started, Laura was talking about an experience in her life where she's literally beginning to watch herself experiencing life, and she did some journaling around that, and maybe she'll tell us a story herself. But at any rate, very powerful tool to take the personality ego out of your life experiences and begin to look at it as an observer. If you're watching a movie, you watch how the characters develop, you notice the detail, you see things that perhaps you wouldn't notice if you were actually in that production. But people notice when something isn't in sync, or for instance, on the Titanic, the captain is having a cup of tea and he's using a tea bag. The tea bags weren't invented at that period of time. And so people, when they're outside the experience, can see lots of things they can't see when they're in the experience. And so that's a really important tool to develop this month. It will make your lessons and your awareness much more acute. Laura, do you want to add anything to that since I told your story a little bit?
No, but it was very helpful to describe what my ego was doing as the observer, and I wrote it down. And so when you write that down and you look at it, it takes that negative energy away, right? And then it becomes so powerful, and then the result is really being close and loving to myself and kind, right? That's the result of that. After I've observed it and you look at it and you kind of like laugh at it, how crazy it is. And then you're like, wow, I'm really, and then just, it's like, there's such a good feeling after that, like the mind, body, and soul, perfect alignment. Really is.
And that's powerful, just to be able to look at it and find humor in the experience. Sometimes isn't always humorous in the moment, but watching yourself is exceedingly powerful. So I do encourage you to use that as a homework opportunity this week, and begin to step outside your experience. Journaling is exceedingly powerful, and begin to look at and dialogue with yourself and go deeper in your experiences. This is the month to do it, because if you don't do that, what's going to happen is you're going to begin much more emotionally engaged, and it will trigger a lot of strong emotions. So you're going to see people having more outbursts and more emotional explosions and stuff. And if you have children, bless you, just recognize that will be the outcome. Right. I see Josie's hand is up already. Would you like to say something, Josie?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, you can hear. Okay. I just want to have the number to get into this call again real quick. I just need the first three. I think it's 428.
428-733-218.
Okay. Because I'm going to give this to that girl I was telling you about that wanted your books or whatever, it's a long story,
okay.
But
okay.
See if she
yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you. I'm
You're
sorry
welcome.
to interrupt.
No problem.
Okay. I'll put my hand down.
All right. So with that, for those of you who've been here before, you know that we have three important parts of each conversation. For those who are new, I'll explain it to you. We have three parts of the important conversation. First part is asking for protection, guidance, and truth. That's exceedingly important. And I'm saying exceedingly a lot, so I'm going to try and stop that because I don't really like it. It loses power when you overuse it. But anyway, if we remember to ask for those things, that's when we get those things. And this is a time where we're getting a lot of false information. So asking for truth is an important step in attaining truth. Also, when you're asking for it, when you're affirming it, you're actually aligning with the energy of truth. And that makes you resonate more to that truth and recognize when something isn't in harmony with your truth intentions. So power and truth, protection and guidance is exceedingly important. Okay, that's step one and done. You can affirm it, you can ask it, you can just say it and know that it's happening. You can set the intention. It doesn't matter how you do it. It's about doing it. Which brings me to something that I responded to in Facebook today. There was somebody who was talking about being tired and draggy, and so she was putting white light around herself in order to protect herself. And someone said, "Oh, white light is old energy. You don't want to use old energy for this." I thought, what? you know, you've got to use gold energy now because white light is very passe. I thought, oh my gosh, this is just too funny. Hold on
I
a
need
second.
you to do this.
Stacy's playing with my screen.
You can I take this phone or no?
Go away. It's not charged. I wish you wouldn't do that. Okay. I have to calm myself. It's so, see, July. Anyway, she's come and mucked with my screen and now it's very different. And I'm not sure why it's frozen on Josie. So Josie, you're the star. It's not coming back to me, so I'm not sure why she's done this.
Okay. Well, I need this because it shows differently on YouTube. So you can see everybody in the top, but it's important on how it goes onto YouTube.
But I'm talking and it's still staying on Josie.
Well, Josie's trying to talk. I don't know. It shows you.
I can see you, Heather. It's not on me. It looks like it's on you like normal, but so maybe it's your screen.
Okay. All right. Okay, I don't know what she's doing. She's still playing with my computer, so.
Okay, now speak, Mom.
Why did you mute her?
Just speak for a second and see if it goes to
I'm
you.
talking. A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
I
This
don't
is
know.
irritating to me.
Well, of course.
It's not moving anywhere.
Well, I don't know, but it's showing your screen on.
All right, so we'll
YouTube.
just continue go on. Okay. Have no idea what's going on. We'll just trust that we'll keep going. So anyway, the first part is to ask for protection, guidance, and truth, and we've done that. And then also trusting the truth, which is very important in the process as well. The second part is when we actually do our light work. We do exercise that both expands and enhances the light, whether you want gold light or passive white light, it doesn't matter. As I responded, all light is from the same source. It is based on your belief system. So the person that believed that white light was old, perhaps stale, passe energy, it is for her because that's her belief system. If you think you need sparkly, new, refresh light every day, then that's your belief system. If you think you have to wear garlic and have something hanging on your forehead, that's your belief system. Whatever it is that you believe is what's going to be your truth. And in that situation, it is truth for you. So if you will just recognize that the light is a part of all of us, whether it's white or gold or green or sparked or zebra striped, doesn't make any difference. Light is light. Light, love, God, all are vibrational frequencies that are one and the same. The terms are interchangeable, the energy is interchangeable. And so what we can do is just set the intention to meld with that light, expand that light to us and through us. And then in that place, we become channels for directing that light to wherever it's needed on the planet. The light, love, divine carries the frequency of love that is going to transform the planet. So whether you call it one thing or another, it doesn't matter. It's about that energy that you are using, directing, and empowering just through your words and actions. So if you will, imagine going to center. I close my eyes because it's easier for me to focus the energy as I do that. Eyes are not magic. If you feel comfortable with your eyes open, please do so. I do it to block out the distractions, but you can do it any way you want. And in that center, that's where we are most plugged into our divine forces. Think about it. When you're recharging your phone, you plug your phone in, and that phone is plugged in to a power outlet. When we go to center, it's like plugging ourselves into our power outlet. It's a very personal connection. It's a very universal connection. It is where we go to recharge. And so whether you call it your happy place or your center, doesn't matter. Again, we get so hung up with the words. It's just about the intention, going and connecting to our divine sources. In my world, I make my center look like a beach because I like beaches. I feel renewed in beaches. So mine is a beach. Other people have made it look like their family room or their kitchen or a mountaintop. Wherever you feel most safe, most aligned, most trusting, most comfortable, that is your center. So when you go to center, what happens is you feel a little calmer, a little more serene, a little more peaceful. If you're driving down your car and you're getting yourself agitated, just go to center. When you are having a reaction to something going on around you, just center yourself. It's all the same thing. So for tonight, we're just going to go to center. We're going to center ourselves. Imagine a tube, a pillar of light, and we're going to step into that light. And in that light, we have the heavenly energies coming to us and through us into the earth energy. It's grounding and stabilizing. We are here to anchor the heavenly energies into the earth. We are here to anchor heaven to earth. That's our job. And when we do this, that's exactly what we're doing. The energy of the universe is coming to us and through us into the earth, through us, and creating more roots so that we feel more grounded. At the same time, we feel more uplifted. And then just imagine being in that light, and we call in all the other beings of light, both in the planet, around the planet, who support the planet, all those of like mind who are going to join us in the exercise to expand the influence and power and light that we have. And we're going to just take a breath and send this light into the earth. We are here to gain mastery of everything, which includes the light. And we send that light and love into the earth, filling every cell in, on, and around this planet with our light, with our love. Every vacancy, every void, every cave, every tunnel, we're just going to fill with light. Just see the whole earth glowing with this incredible radiant light. And then we send this light and love out into the atmosphere. The atmosphere is to this planet as our skin is to our body. It's a very important protective covering, and our job is just to love it. And then we're going to send this light and love into all the weather patterns all around the planet. The weather patterns represent the tools by which the earth balances herself. And our love just helps that process. Now, there are those on the planet who do not want light and love to prevail. They do not want to do away with the dark corners. We call them lovingly the lesser lights. But there are many lesser lights who try to impede the well-being of the planet, impede the evolution of the planet and humanity. And we're just going to love them. Anyone and anything that tries to to alter or change or slow down the evolution of the planet. Just imagine surrounding them with love, filling them with light. This is the divine plan. This is God's plan. They can't alter it. And our job is just to love them. On this planet, each of us individually contribute to the collective, the mass consciousness of this planet, the collective consciousness. And right now, I'd like all of you just to add lots of light and love into this mass consciousness. It is the means by which we all become one. The more we love it, the more this love impacts the collective. We each impact the mass consciousness, and the mass consciousness impacts all. So we're just going to love them and love it. And then we're going to send this love and light out to all the leaders on the planet, whether they're business leaders, political leaders, organizational leaders, pharmaceutical leaders, whether they're first responders, just all of those who influence others. We want to love them especially. They're doing their job. And our job is to love them. And we want to love all the future leaders of the planet and all the past leaders of the planet, and ask all of them to be a part of the reckoning of the United States of America, as well as all the other countries. It is time that we recognize and do our part to bring this country back into alignment with spirit. In its day, the United States was the first and only country that was made to be in harmony with divine will. Free will was the law of the land. And since that time, we've had lots of political leaders who've done their best to alter that. And just imagine loving them and asking for all the help to bring this country back into alignment with divine will. Whatever needs to happen, however it needs to happen, we want to support and encourage. We want to send this love and light to all those on this planet who are in need of love, who want it, who are hurting, who are in pain, who are in lack and limitation. We just love them. If you have people in your family that you would like to send love and light to, please do so now. And then allow yourself to be open to receive this love and light. Universal law says whatever you send out, you must receive. So all the light, all the love you've been sending out must come back to you to keep this flow going. So just feel how it feels as your body absorbs this love and light, moving through every cell, every atom, every DNA strand, every gene. Just feel it move through your body, healing and restoring you back to your divine, perfect state. What you eat, what you drink, what you wear, who you hang with, what you think, what you do, all impacts your DNA. It all impacts your chemistry that operates throughout your body that maintains your health. Right now, just imagine this light being an incredible cosmic elixir that's restoring, healing, neutralizing, bringing every aspect of you into balance. If you have special places on your body that may be out of sorts, then just direct energy there. Send it through your digestive system. Your gut is a very important and powerful truth teller. Your heart and your circulatory system, just direct the light and love through it and to it. It too is a very important part of your totality. Your brain, your skin, your muscles and tissues and bones. Just fill them all with light and love. Restoring, empowering. And right now, if it be your choice, give your body permission to talk to you and tell you what it needs for perfect health. Give it permission to guide you and encourage you to do the things for perfect health. And right now we have lots of whistleblowers telling stories to help people awaken to the truth. Just imagine sending lots and lots of love and light out to these whistleblowers, these people behind the scenes who've seen things that disturb them. Just love them. Love the tools, love the messages, love their words. And of course, we have lots of reporters and media and the naysayers who are out to discredit them, discredit truth, who are here to want to guide and manipulate humanity for their own agenda. Love them too. Love their words. They may be the whistleblowers of tomorrow. We just love them, no matter what. Love the people who irritate you, who cause you distress. Love those who are your teachers, because they are teaching you very powerful lessons. So just love those who are causing you discomfort. And again, just let the love flow back to you gently, harmoniously, peacefully. Just breathe and open to the love. Not hard work. Requires no concentration or focus. It's just about being relaxed and open. And in this state, be open to the messages the universe wants to give you. Be open to the awareness, the insights, the inspirations. Just listen. I'm going to be quiet for just a minute and let you listen to the universe, that the relaxed, open, receptive state that you're in is the condition you should be in when you go to listen, whether you call it meditation or relaxation. It's just about being open. If you have to work at it, if you have to strain to make it happen, you're not listening. You're working. So just relax and let the universe guide you in whatever way that serves you. And when you're ready, just take a deep breath and anchor that energy in your totality and come back to the here and now. When you're fully back in your body, just wiggle your fingers, get yourself situated back into your totality. And since we don't have anyone to interpret anything, you have to talk up if you want to talk up. So if anybody wants to say something, feel free to do so. This is the part where we go into conversation. And so if you have anything you want to ask or anything you want to say, let me know. My screen is totally screwed up, so I'm not seeing anybody but Josie. Josie's not my full entire screen. So Josie, from my perspective, it's just you and I tonight. So the rest of you are just going to unmute yourself and jump in if you want, because I don't even see you. So anybody have anything they want to share or anything you experienced in that?
Well, it's me and you, huh?
According to my computer, that's it. I see the names of everybody else, but go ahead.
I have trouble, actually, like, I've told you this before. I don't know if it's just I have to practice more with, like, I don't usually have that experience where I have to come back into my body because it's like I never left. So is that like my mind is blocking it or something, or?
It's not about coming back into your body, although for some people it is. If you've moved into consciousness, when you're into consciousness, you're not fully integrated into the physical. You're not really in your mind. You are into that state in between all of those things, like the twilight of your sleep, when you're drifting off to sleep and you sort of can't tell reality from your imagination kind of thing. And that twilight happens when you're going to sleep and when you're waking up, and you don't remember dreams so much. It'll fade real quick. That's the state of consciousness when you're in pure consciousness. And ideally, when you go and do these experiences, you are moving into consciousness where you have access to much more information. It's why you can see things that you wouldn't see if you were just in your mind. You're really able to experience things at a different level, a different place. And so what happens when I'm saying, wiggle your fingers, whatever, it brings you back into operation. Like I'm moving my fingers. So I have to think about moving my fingers. I have to move my fingers. So it brings me back into alignment with the physical experience of my life. And that's really when we're working in balance, because we've been playing with spirit, we're working in physical, and we're moving in balance between the two worlds. And that's the ultimate goal, is to walk in balance between the two worlds.
Yeah, I don't, like I said, I don't know if I just keep doing it and practicing it and it'll come better.
First, practicing it implies that you can't do it, and you have to do it to learn how to do it. Like if you're shooting bow and arrow, you're going to practice till you can do it well. Just trust that how you're doing it works for you. There is not a single way of doing it. If there's 50 people on this call, 50 people have had 50 different experiences and gone through 50 different sequences of activities. And so they'll approach it 50 different ways. And they're all equally powerful for them. Some people will hear things, some people will see things, some people will experience just colors, some people will experience symbols or random words that they have to put meaning to, or animals, and they'll see what they'll call their power animals. So even in the seeing, there's a lot of variation. You just have to trust that if your intention is to be in that space, you are. That your space will not look and act like my space, will not look and act like someone else's space. But when you set the intention to go in there, you come back feeling a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more serene, a little bit less stressed. And that's the goal. Stress, if you think about stress, when we're stressed, we've got tight muscles, we've got, clenching jaws, we've got everything all locked up. And that's where you keep spirit out of your life. Nothing about stress allows you to live in harmony with the universe. So you have to be able to process life without moving into the stress. Mm-hmm. And that's what this little respite that we do with the light does. It takes you out of that stressful situation and into la la land. No expectations, no right or wrong. Just go with the flow and see what happens.
Because I used to think that I was blocking myself because of the fear I had, like from 30 years ago when I had a trouble with a breakdown. So I was always like holding on to, oh God, I can't leave my mind, I'll lose it again.
Permission to speak candidly. Can I be real direct?
Yeah.
You don't trust yourself in any way, shape, or form. So therefore you doubt yourself. You second guess yourself with everything you do. As soon as you decide that how you are exactly okay, you will be, and you'll have much more trust. But because what you see is mistake back then, I lost my mind back then, that you're afraid you're going to make that big old mistake again and you're going to lose your mind again. Well, you can't lose your mind. There are no accidents. Everything is for your growth and for your experience. And look how it's allowed you to experience a reality that you can help other people through now. So that was a very important experience. It was not a mistake. It was not a bad thing, because in order to be a bad thing, you had to judge it a bad thing. It was just a thing. Okay. And it's okay. And you have to now learn to trust yourself. You're a wise, capable, competent woman, that you don't honor. So you've got to honor yourself in order to allow and sort of pay reference to that part of you. I mean, think how strong that part of you had to be to walk through all those experiences and get to the other side with dignity and grace. That is not a weak soul. That is not a incompetent totality. It's strength. It's power. And imagine the soul that volunteered to come do that. Here, let me go play this role. And then you begin to recognize and honor who you are.
I gotcha. Yeah. It was quite an event that I had to actually pull myself out of to get out of what, they wanted me to stay in the hospital and all these drugs and blah, blah, blah. But yeah,
And because you pulled yourself out of it, you can teach other people how to pull themselves out of it. That's your mess is your message. You know how to get out of it through grit.
mhm,
So now that's what you've got to teach other people, because there's a lot of other people in it now. Maybe not as severe as you were, but there's a lot of people in it. So write down the steps, write down what you did, because that's what's going to help other people. By many standards, many people who track these things say that's our world of the homeless.
yeah,
And you hold the secret. You worked through it to get through it. And now you know the formula to help others get through it. Share it. An ebook can be 5 pages, 10 pages. This is what I did that might help you. And then you can put it out for free or for $1 or for whatever on Amazon ebooks. And if one person reads it and finds a formula that works for them, your journey will have been worth it. But if it stays in your head,
mhm,
it'll never help anybody.
okay,
Everybody has to make their mess public, because their mess is how they help get their message out.
well, I'm so glad brought this up and it came to this because I probably wouldn't have realized that, you know, was helpful for anybody, but
It's because
yeah,
you discount yourself.
right.
You
Yeah.
don't give yourself acknowledgement for what you had to go through to get through.
Oh my God.
And
It was like, how they say one day at a time or an hour at a time or a minute at a time. I was 1 second at a time and like just journaled the whole time and like in conversation with God, please just help me, help me, help me. And
so tell your story.
works. Yeah, okay.
Luckily today I don't need your story, but there are people out there who do.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's very enlightening. Like, I never thought of it that way.
And that's why you come to join us.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, somebody's in the waiting room. I gotta figure out how to do this.
I know I was gonna see if I could look up comments. Can you see comments?
What? Do I
Can
say
you see
what?
comments? Any comments? Can you see any comments?
I have seen comments. Today the
No,
sky
I mean
is.
comments. People's
Oh, comments. Oh, comments. Yes, I can see. I can see comments
okay,
on Zoom. I don't see comments like on YouTube and that kind of stuff.
okay. I was just gonna read
And
them.
Esmeralda said, I just felt my body warm and then receiving love. Yeah, there's been several times people tell me that they don't even think about remembering to let the love back in. They only think about sending it out. And so often that's the most important part of it, because the more we open up and allow that love to come back to us, the more we're transformed by it. And so we're sending it out, but we're also receiving it. And that creates that cycle that we get into. I see every breath that I take being when I breathe out, I'm sending love to anything and everything. And when I breathe in, I'm bringing love from the universe back into my body. But I just have it as a continuous process. With every step I take and with every breath I take, I am in that cycle of sending and receiving love. And I was told that if I can imagine my body being like a recycle plant, so when I'm bringing the energy in, I'm bringing all of the energy in, not just the love, and then I'm transforming all that is less than love into the highest form of love. And as I put it out, that it's going out in the highest form of love. So that's sort of my imagination. I just imagine being this huge recycling, energetic recycling plant.
I like that though. Breathing out, you're sending, and then breathing in, you're receiving. That's very helpful.
Yeah. And we are love. I mean, that is our natural state. It's everything else we do that mutes our love, like not honoring ourselves or not recognizing, and giving ourselves credit for what we've gone through. Not that, I mean, there are narcissists who get, beyond, and they think that they love themselves no matter what, and they're everything and nobody else is nothing. I'm not talking about that unhealthy kind of love, but just that wonderfully balanced, responsible love. We are little godlets. We are part of that energy, and our job is to use it. We're here to make a difference. Anybody else want to unmute themselves and make a comment? I don't know what Stacy did to my screen, but we just have to work with what we got. So if anybody else has anything they want to say, or Esmeralda, if you want to add anything to what you said. And I've said before that old energy was removed. When I go to the bathroom, my intention is always to release what doesn't serve me, and from everything from energy, thoughts, behaviors, attitudes, whatever doesn't serve me is gone, and then I breathe in and pull in all that does. So it's easy to always be letting go of things that hold you back. And it is a choice.
And then what do you do after that?
Well, again, I just my intention is to release everything that doesn't serve me at every level, and then I allow all that does to come in.
Okay, I didn't know about that second part.
Oh yeah, whenever you're releasing, you want to be always replacing the energy. Otherwise, you become empty. You can't pour out without allowing it to come in. A lot of healers, especially, will heal from themselves, and then they're exhausted afterwards. Well, yeah, because you have to take it, let the energy come through you, not from you. If you're just sending your energy, then you're going to run low. But if you're using universal energy and it's just coming through you, then what happens is you're never low. You're always being replenished.
Because I've been doing the bathroom thing about, releasing all that doesn't serve me. And, sometimes I put in things like this extra weight, hoping that that's going to shut off too. It's fast. But I didn't know about the, allowing it to come in.
Yeah.
So this call is like already amazing.
There we go.
It's like,
there we go. That's why I get the big bucks.
yeah.
Anybody else have? Rebecca, I know you're on the call. I'm trying to remember who's on the call. Any issues, Jennifer B? Any issues going on that you want to ask about? Because it's the conversations that lots of things get brought up. Oh, somebody's playing with their mic. Otherwise,
I've been like really down lately, but I don't know why. I don't really. a reason to be. So that's annoying.
Um,
I don't know.
no, because, you know, sometimes we've stuffed away our sad feelings, our down energy, and it has to come out to be done with, you know, and we're still human. We're still going to go through that emotional up and down, and lots of things going on the planet. You know, as they say, these people who've been vaccinated are shedding, and so the empaths, the light workers, are picking up that energy. So there's lots of reasons why you may be picking up a down energy or releasing a down energy. The important thing is to recognize what's yours, and if it's not yours, release it even faster. If it is yours, ask that emotion, what is it trying to make you aware of, and then let it go. Nothing is by accident.
How do you let stuff go? Because that, but I feel like I'm done with something, and then you know, something like I'll smell something or I'll hear a song, and then I'm right back where I was. It's like, dang, I mean, really, why do I have to keep going through this? Why can't I just be done with it? I want to be done with it.
Well, the thing I keep saying to everybody, the universe or life on Earth is not simple. There's not a quick one-step answer to why everything's the way it is. So you have to sort of look at layers. There is what I call the sacred spiral, that you'll go through a lesson and you'll get it, and then you'll come back to it at a different level so that you can sort of test yourself. Did I get that lesson? And then but you'll be experiencing it and reacting to it at a different level than you did originally. So sometimes that's why you'll come back into the same experience. Sometimes it's just to see how you react to it. Oh, there you are. Did you get your hair cut, or is it just pulled back? Is it
It's pulled back and it's been cut. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say it looks short today. Very pretty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I had a friend who was the cause of a horrendous accident that killed her best friend. And to say she felt horrible about it was an understatement. And she was haunted by this girl who was always in her consciousness. And I said, well, just love her. That whenever she comes to your mind, you just love her. And and think of a happy moment together, you know, whether it's your imagination, whether it's her spirit coming, we don't know, but we just love her. And she did that. And she said, you know, she comes less often now. And it's a different experience when she comes, because she automatically goes into love rather than guilt and shame and blame and all the other kinds of stuff. And so I'd say the same thing. When something comes back into your consciousness that you felt you've dealt with, just love it. You know, oh, it's there again. Love you. Thank you. It might be teaching you compassion. It might be teaching you to let go. And I know your original question was, how do you let go, which we're going to do an exercise for. But recognize these are all the lessons that we get to help us experience a deeper level. Sometimes we experience it, but by going back and experiencing it at a deeper level, we literally learn it at a deeper level. So we'll go through and think about it and reflect on it and ruminate over it. Even though we experience it once, we will revisit it many, many times in order to continue to grow from it. And so it could be that. Sometimes it's something in your past life that you've had a trigger in this life, and it's taking you into a deeper way of understanding it so that you can forgive yourself. It might be, you know, sort of the gatekeeper to a much deeper experience that you're not yet ready to explore. So just watch how you experience this one. And if it's triggering guilt and shame and blame and bad girl kind of thing, then you're probably not ready to get the deeper stuff. If you can go, oh, that was interesting, I don't want to do that one again, then your mind will say, okay, she's ready for a bit more. She's ready for the next step. People who've gone through horrendous experiences will often block them out. The mind just says, you don't need this. And it just shuts the door of the awareness until you're ready and strong enough to be able to handle it. So pay attention to yours and see which, if any of those fit for yours. Now, how do you let go? Your imagination is all powerful. And when you imagine something, literally, that's what you're doing energetically. Everything starts in the imagination. When we're told we're made in the image of God, image is the base word of imagination. It is in the image that we create, and we co-create with the divine. The imagination is the most important aspect of our consciousness. So when we image letting go, it might be putting it on a jet plane and waving goodbye, saying bye. It may be seeing it, just sending lots of love to it and seeing it melt. It might be setting on fire. Fires are very transformative. It might be burying it. In biblical times, they would tie a goat to the center of town, and literally everyone would go and tell their goat their problems, and then they would cut the goat free and let the goat go off. So all their problems went with them. There's all kinds of techniques that have been used throughout history to do it. Right now, we're going to do an exercise. You're all going to have this exercise and choose one thing that you'd like to let go of, or some energetic something. If you have anger issues, let it be anger. If you have guilt, whatever it is that you feel you'd like to let go of, just have it in your consciousness now. And I'll give you a second to get that image. And then what I would like you to do is imagine being an artist. What colors would it be? What would it look like? If you were a sculptor, how would it feel? What texture would it be? And I'm going to use anger for my example, but for you, it might be all have something different, but just choose something. Choose the texture, choose the color, choose the shape, choose the size. Now, what happens when you put your imagination to this, you're literally coalescing the energy. So as I use anger for my example, as I think about what color, what shape, what texture, I'm bringing all this anger energy into a visual form. Now, it's still just happening in my imagination, but I'm making it so it's much easier to deal with. So give it a visual form, give it a texture, a shape. And you notice we didn't do any countdowns. There was no hypnosis. It's just the intention. Now, what I'd like you to do is go around your consciousness and gather up all of this energy that you find. And again, it's just your imagination. But as you go around your consciousness, find lots of, and my anger issues, my anger is looking like a pronged little metal ball they used to hit people with that have little pokey things all over the place, but it's black, it's hard, it's very spiked. And that's what I'm making my anger look like. So now I'm going around my consciousness, my subconscious where everything resides, and I'm pulling all of these out. And I can have the angels help me if you want. Wherever you are, you can have me help you. It doesn't matter. Just bring it all out and imagine putting it in a pile. Now, as you look at this pile, it may be a huge pile, it may be a small pile, doesn't matter. Just imagine your pile. And then how is it best going to be disposed of? Now, because mine are these very hard nugget things, I'm going to imagine digging a big hole and putting in the earth. The earth causes the transformation. The earth is very transformative. And so I'm going to let the earth dissipate and melt this anger. You might want to spray it with love. You might want to give it to the angels. You can imagine a cosmic vacuum cleaner that you suck it up if it looks like dust. However you created it, what's going to be the best way that you transform it? Because in the end, everything is going to become just love. And over where I dug my hole and I covered up this anger, I'm going to plant flowers. So this old energy will just become nutrients for a new beginning. And just let go of the energy, feel it being transformed. Now that's getting rid of the energy, but we're not done yet, because our bodies are energetic wholes, and it never, or totalities, I guess would be a better word. Whenever you have a space, a gap, the universe is going to fill it. So we want to fill it intentionally. And because I let go of anger, I'm going to bring in just unconditional love, which I'm going to see as like little fur bunnies, just little furry, energetic, soft, sweet, gentle, loving. And I'm going to fill all the space where the anger was with these wonderful little love bunnies. You always want to fill that space that's been vacated intentionally. So whatever you got rid of, think about the opposite of that, and then fill that space with it. If you don't fill it intentionally, you can pull the old energy back, and every day is a choice. Or even something worse can come in. So we want to always fill that vacancy with our intention. When it's all filled up, take a deep breath and anchor that energy. Feel how it feels. And then come back to the here and now. All right. So how did that feel, Rebecca?
Good.
So you see,
I like doing those. You did that before for fear, and I use that actually with my kids all the time. I recorded it.
okay, so that's one tech. It's my go-to technique for getting rid of anything, for letting go of something that I have specifically identified. So that's a technique for letting go, but you always want to fill it up again. But yeah, you can do that as a bedtime ritual with your kids, or even yourself, of just letting go of whatever the ickies were the day, and having them identify it, and then pull in whatever it is they want to sleep well. So yes.
I like that. Thank you.
You're welcome. And you do feel lighter with it, you know, so it's a very powerful. And if you're watching the news, you're feeling like you're taking on some of this fear, take a moment to get rid of the fear, whatnot. And I see I'm reading the information, and I see Esmeralda's comment about continuing the conversation about the 12 things that impact the quality of life. I have to remember to look up that file. I haven't. Okay, hold a second. I'll have to work at it. Esmeralda, email me through the week, and so I can see if I can find that file. I'm in the process of moving and cleaning out my house, so I don't know where that file is. But we have to find it in order to get all 12. And somewhere I have a CD made of that workshop. So I just have to find it in order to identify all 12. You just take my word for it. There were 12 things that I identified. There are probably more, but I'll keep working at it. Keep hounding me, but hound me through the week so I can look for it. You're good, Esmeralda. like you to be my assistant. Keep me on track. All right. Anybody else have anything they want to ask or say, or any other issues? Oh, there's a new message down here. Okay, so as Merle said, she removed worry and replaced it with fluffy clouds of trust. Worry is the knowing that something's going to go wrong. So you spend all your energy looking at these things that could go wrong. The opposite of that is trusting that everything is divinely perfect. So your fluffy clouds are of trust, and trusting that everything is divinely perfect. There are no accidents. Your soul has gone ahead and cleared the way, and your journey is divinely perfect. And if they just want to share what they got rid of and what they replaced it with. And the people on YouTube, I'm sorry, I do not know how to follow the comments you make. So my email address is Heather@HeatherHarder, and that's the best I can do. If you email me, then I can stay up with it. Any other issues? Any other? This is really moving into a place of refinement for we've many of the light workers have gotten rid of the major stuff that's happening in their lives. Now we're working on refinement, the smaller, sort of pestier things. Well, no other questions, no other conversations needed, then we can, we can just continue on and go about our life.
I was trying to, you said your email is heather@heatherharder.com.
Yes.
Okay, because I was sending that to this friend of mine that, you know, I was telling you about before. And it keeps bringing up whenever I put Heather Harder in heatherharder.com, it comes up Harder Mechanical Contractors.
Heather@HeatherHarder with a D.com.
Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah. 2 times.
Okay, I'm gonna go to a different account for me,
Okay.
and I'm gonna take and send. Josie,
Yes.
what is your
My email or what?
yeah,
Okay, it's JM32321022 @gmail.com.
all right. Okay, I have, if I've done this right, okay, I just sent a letter N to you. but it should have my email on there. See, something's being mistyped. It came up fine on mine.
Okay, yeah, because I was like, I did it twice, but
Heather, HEATHER at heatherharder.com. So it came out fine. I sent it from one account to another, but I sent it to you as well. So you should have something.
that's strange. Because one time I told her www.heatherharder.com. Then these contractors
That's the
came.
website.
Oh, okay.
That's the website, www.heatherharder.com.
Okay.
But the email is heather@heatherharder.com.
Yeah, it threw in a space there, so maybe that has something to do with
Oh
it.
yeah, spaces make a big difference, and underlines, underscores, and stuff. Yeah, no spaces.
Yeah, I didn't want it to do that, but it did it on its own, so I'd have to go back and retype it before I hit send.
Again, everything is divinely perfect.
Heck, 'cause I'm like, these guys are awfully happy contractors.
Okay. And then I don't know. I love my daughter. Esmeralda says, I've been having vivid dreams that seem like I'm in two places at once. I wake up trying to figure out where I am currently. You're probably experiencing layers of consciousness. Earlier when we talked about being able to be in this world and of this, well, but not of this world, but being able to watch ourselves experiencing it. That's sort of when we're being able to separate ourselves in consciousness. So we're not totally tied into the here and now. And as we've said at different times, we are in a place in our consciousness that we think is reality. But there are lots and lots of layers of reality going on simultaneously. So let's say in this reality, I am a student and I'm getting my PhD. But another reality, I'm the teacher teaching PhDs. And then another reality, I may be a homeless guy on the street. And so as I begin to have the ability to expand my consciousness, I can, and these are all going on simultaneously. It's not like it's a different lifetime. It's not a sequence, although we've been programmed to think it's a sequence, past lives and future lives, but it's sort of a stack of experiences going on because we're so much more than just the here and now. And so you may be the student but get bleed through of being the teacher. And so in your dream state, your consciousness is beginning to expand so that you can be experiencing several different things. I actually was shown how it worked, but I couldn't even begin to explain how it works. But I was able to move in and out of different experiences I'm having simultaneously and be fully aware of them. But it's hard to wrap your mind around, for me at least. So there was a movie, a TV show, and I only saw a part of one episode, so I don't even know what it was called, but the guy was, I don't know, a detective or something. And then when he went to sleep, he woke up in a different experience and having a different experience. And then when he'd go to sleep and he'd go back to the first one. So he would hop realities from being awake and asleep. Then there was another guy, I forget what that show was called, but he would be there and to fix something or do something, and then he would hop realities. When that ended, he would like time warp into another experience. And so we see lots of those shows that are beginning to, and I don't watch TV anymore, so I don't know what's out currently, but we're seeing a lot of those shows come up that have these people sort of hopping realities because we're being prepared. As we expand our consciousness, we are going to be expanding our abilities that go with that. And so you're being prepared for that. So just watch it, journal it, recognize it. And my chat disappeared, so I don't know how to get my chat back. Was this soul fragments? First of all, soul fragment sounds like it's broken. I don't like that term, but we do have a lot of different soul aspects. So in the beginning, there was the divine. First, would you all comment? Can you see me? Because I don't see me at all in any of this. So am I visible when I'm talking?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So there was divine, and every religion teaches in some form or another that the divine spun off aspects of itself. Those aspects I call the spirit self kind of energy. Those spirit selves then spun off aspects of itself, and that's what I label as that soul aspect. But because divine is both the creator and the created, the soul, the spirit is both the creation and the created. The soul is both the creation and the created. So the soul is also a creator. And so the soul creates aspects of itself. So I'm one soul aspect of my totality sitting here in this chair talking to you. But I know that I have another aspect that's a much younger version living in Denver. I know that I have another aspect of myself that's in a male body living on the western coast of Canada. And so, and that's just the ones I know. There could be hundreds of aspects of me as far as my soul goes, as all of you are. I like the term aspects, like facets versus a fragment, which sounds like it's broken and we've got to put it together. It's just the way it was designed to be. That in order for God to experience life, he it's not one at a time in a linear fashion, but all of us wanted to experience. So I may be a policeman in one life, and in another aspect of that life, or another aspect of life, I may be the criminal. I may be a do-gooder in one lifetime, and I may be a royal bitch in another lifetime. And the lifetimes are not sequential; they're all simultaneous, because it's just about experiencing. We just want to experience. So how do I experience the most that I can experience? In my life, at one time, in one moment of my life, I owned 4 childcare centers. I owned 7 commercial properties. I owned a consulting company. I was a full-time professor, and et cetera, et cetera. And I was a mother, and I was a wife. I had lots of different things going on in my life simultaneously. Because I wanted to experience them all. I didn't want to just be a wife or just own the centers or just do this. I wanted to experience all of it, but that was my choice. The same thing happens. Buddha said he lived 500 lifetimes while sitting under the banyai tree. All of us are experiencing lots and lots. And in this lifetime, especially, everything's speeding up. So we're learning more and more in a less and less time as we measure time. Well, we take that all over the planet, and that's what's happening. So our souls are experiencing lots of different things in order to grow that much more. And it's okay. And it says, I think it was a jumper. And I would say, I don't know what you mean by jumper, but if you're talking about jumping conscious awareness, you can. I was shown for a while how to have like conscious awareness of 2 or 3 lifetimes happening simultaneously, but it was mind-boggling. I said, no, I don't want that right now. It's too hard. But I would equate it to like your TV. In our area, you get Channel 2, Channel 5, or NBC, CBS, WGN, and ABC. So those are the main channels, but we know there's lots and lots of cable stations and other stations available. When you're watching ABC, NBC still going on with its programming. So is CBS. And I can turn channels and I can watch a little bit of ABC and then come back to CBS and then turn over to WGN, and I'm going to see what's going on. The channels didn't stop because I turned my awareness away from them. They continue on. And that's kind of like your soul experiences in different life experiences. You may be aware of this, but these other things are still continuing. So
That's wild.
yeah, it is. And that's why when people say this, oh, this little simple answer to this thing, it's like, oh, it's so much bigger than that. But we're not ready to conceive of how big it really is. This is a very complex world, which is why we're here to help save it, because it's a very difficult life to replicate, because every thought you think changes your life. And so it's a world of diversity, and throughout this entire planet, not two people have the same fingerprints, not two people have the same hair shafts, not two people have the same DNA. That I shouldn't say that, identical twins do have the same DNA, but that's very rare. But we have no two snowflakes that have ever come from the sky have the same patterns. So it's an unlimited diversity with unlimited variations. And so it's mind-boggling. And so we're here to keep it going, make it last. Right now, the best analogy we have of our mind is a computer. So
The best what? I'm sorry.
I said right now the computer is the most complex thing we know. So it's what we're used to as an analogy for our mind, but our mind is so much more complicated than a computer.
I had that experience. Okay, it was a screen with, like all little triangles, and there was
Yeah.
one letter in there, and I went away from the screen, came back to it, and my eyes just went right to the A, like it was a computer going do, and then it was like back to normal, and I was like, wow, that was really wild. And
Well, I've said that we're Googleizing our mind. We're losing our memory, so you don't remember things the way you did. That's intentional. So we have to live in the present. But if you want to know something, it's like you ask the question and your mind goes through its files and brings up the answer. Like if you ask a question to Google, you don't need to know all that's in Google. You just ask the question and Google gives you whatever is that you need to know or want to know. And that's what's happening with our minds. So if we don't resist it, it'll be much easier.
yeah, that was pretty cool. I was like, wow, it dialed in like do, and I went straight to that A. And it was the only A out of these little triangles or something like that. And I was like, wow, that was a flash. Like,
Yeah, and I highly recommend that you take and write out as many of the symbols and things as you can remember, because they probably weren't letters of the alphabet as we recognize them. They probably were alien forms, like hieroglyph kind of things, but alien symbols.
okay, that it just adds more to it.
Mayfer says, I keep seeing the number 144 everywhere. Wonder why? Because it has significance for you. First of all, 144 would make a 9. 9 are about completions. So I would look to see if that has any significance as far as completions. Is it reinforcing that you're done? But there is a part of you, Mayfer, that knows everything. You're part of the divine. Your super consciousness knows everything. So ask. And this is where journaling is very powerful. In your journal, ask, what does the number 144 mean to me? Because it may mean something different to you than it would to Josie. And then it may mean something different to me. So ask yourself, why is it showing up? What does it mean to me? What am I supposed to learn from it? What am I supposed to do? And then I would jot down the circumstances that 144 shows up for you, because that might be representing a pattern. But if you're noticing the pattern, then dig deeper. And that there's always a part of you that knows everything. All right, and so I missed something. Hold a second. Can you talk about any of the elementals? That was a fun topic. Well, ask me a question about the elementals. I can talk about anything, but I don't want to keep going over the same stuff we did before. But just as we said that our consciousness, we have lots of levels. Well, there's lots of different life forms that we don't recognize and we don't acknowledge. From the little folk, the wee folk from Ireland, and the various aspects, the people that talk the most about the elementals, which I would call divas, were the people in Finhorn, and they've got several books out. Eileen Caddy and Dorothy McLean wrote a lot about the elementals, but it's just another level of existence that we don't acknowledge and don't cooperate with. Once you start working with them and honoring them, they make themselves known and do lots of things to support you and help you. I'm already talking to the elementals of my land. Even though I don't know where that land is yet, I know that the universe knows where my land is. And for those of you who don't know, I'm in the process of clearing out my house so I can sell it, because I'm feeling the need to go and find acreage with trees. But I don't know where it is. There's 5 states that I'm considering, and I'm selling my house on faith that I'll find that land. But I'm already talking to the elementals, the nature spirits of that land, telling them what to do and how to make me aware when I see that land, because it's the land. The house is secondary. It's the land that is calling me. So I'm working with it. But how would I work with the elementals? First, by acknowledging them, I would give them little presents. Elementals, tobacco was a great gift. You could even pick up old cigarette butts on the floor and on the ground and tear them open and take the tobacco and give it to them. Little crystals, little stones. You can, sometimes you can get those little tubes of stone fragments, and you can put those down. However, whatever, it's the acknowledgement. And then I give them things that they can use for their energy. But it's fun to work with them, and then watch the miracles. I mean, you can ask them to do things and they will do it. I want you to take this rose and make it the biggest and prettiest in the garden, just to show me how powerful you are. And they do. So make it a game. Again, the fun. And as I said, one time I had a garden party for my divas, a welcome back divas garden party. And I had everybody come and we ate in my yard. And in Native American traditions, the first bite of food you take always goes to the earth. And so you take your first bite of food and you throw it on the ground and give it to the earth. And so we did that. And they had to bring a present for my divas. And I gave a list of list of things that they could bring as a gift to my divas. And it was just fun, but it was amazing how actually vibrant the ground felt after doing it. So play with it. It's not about serious, somber, spiritual work. I've seen people do like 47 revolutions and think that the serious work was more spiritual. It's not. It's fun. It's lighthearted. It's really remembering that we're here to bring in the light. Lightheartedness is part of that. Okay, Jennifer B says 144,000 Dolores Cannon mentioned the amount of light workers that came to Earth. Okay, I like Dolores Cannon. I don't believe the number 144,000 light workers came to the Earth. I think that number changes and alters all the time, and I think there's a whole lot more than that in totality. If you said on April 3rd, 1963, this is how many came to the Earth, I might go along with it, but I don't believe there's a finite number. I think we come and go and change and alter. So that wouldn't have meaning to me. Jehovah's Witnesses said there was only going to be 144,000 people admitted to heaven. And so they were at my house with their little pamphlets and stuff. And I said, well, how many Jehovah's Witnesses there are? And she looked at me and I said, well, there's already 144,000 Jehovah's Witnesses. Then there's no point in, changing, because I'm not going to get into heaven. And so the next time they came back, that number was gone. But for a while, they were saying that was how many people. That number is a sacred number, apparently, because a lot of people use it for a lot of things. And I like Dolores Cannon. I just don't agree with that number. So there could be 144,000 me's throughout the universe. So what is it counting? Is it total? And there's 10 soul aspects of each one. I would just have find too many holes in that number. So, but again, it's not terribly important. I started to talk about the elementals. Love what you're saying. Okay. Well, ask me more. I can say anything, but the elementals to me are fun. So, and every plant has its own elemental assigned to it. And then let's say my flower garden, I may have elementals just for the daisies. And then I may have a garden elemental that's assigned to oversee all the flowers, and another one to oversee the vegetables, and another one to oversee my yard. And there may be another one that oversees all the ground in Crown Point. And so it's just like angels. There's hierarchies that go on forever. And so a daisy elemental may work its way up to being a yard elemental. So there's learning and growing going on at every level of existence. It's about experiencing. We tend to think it's a race. We get to the end and we're done. I'm going to get my degree. I work my ass off for 4 years and I get my degree and I'm done. But that's not the way the universe sees it. The universe sees it as an ongoing learning experience, and you're never done. So, and that's the way the elementals are. So, but love it, love it. Describe the elementals. Oh.
Like, fairies, like that type of thing.
Well, again, they're energy beings, and so sometimes you may see them as a point of light. Sometimes you may experience them as an energy wisp, just like a brush across the cheek of a wind or something. They don't have a physical presence, although they can create one if it's important, just like we did the exercise with the letting go. We took something that doesn't have a form and we gave it a form. So the elementals are the same way. They don't have a form,
okay,
but they have a purpose. They have an energy presence. Being in physical with this very hardcore physical body is the exception in the universe. It's not the rule. You're much more likely to run across energy beings, which we kind of discount as not being real, than you are to get a physical presence. A lot of creatures give themselves physical presence because it's what we expect, but it's not their natural state. I think I've mentioned my home planet is a planet where it's just energy waves, and it kind of looks like tie-dye because they're just different colors. And with every thought, with every word, with every conversation, those colors change and warp and alter. So you're just seeing this wisp of colors move, but it's a planet where discernment is the most important lesson that you're learning. And so as you're watching and interpreting all these energy things, you're really learning discernment at its deepest level. You can discern the slightest shift of colors, the slightest shift of form. So again, we live in an incredible universe. And when you give up this mindset that says it has to be this way, then you're opening yourself to being the way it is. Truth is much bigger than you are, much bigger than you can imagine. So anybody else have questions?
Well, I have, I'm sorry, is it okay?
Yeah.
There's one tomato plant in my garden that like I took off a stem because, sometimes as they get bigger, you take off the water suckers or whatever. So I did it, and I think it was too young of a plant for me to do that. So it started dying. So I went out and put a crystal on the fence by it, and it is getting better. And I'm talking to,
Well, and that's it. Talk to the plant and say, I'm really sorry. I thought I was helping you. And obviously it was too much. You went into shock. So I apologize. Let me know if there's something I can do to make up for it. And then as a apology, give them a few rice. For some reason, rice is a typical plant. Get, a cigarette butt with some tobacco. I did buy a pouch of tobacco. So I actually give them tobacco out of a pouch. But tobacco was a gift that the Native Americans used to give. So just give them presents and say you're sorry, and talk to the elementals and say, please help me make this plant better because I feel badly that I was the cause of its stress.
Yes, I did that. And then I just asked him, could you go to that spot and put your healing into that hole that I made?
Yeah. First of all, listen to your voice when you're doing that. Could you go and do that? I mean, that certainly doesn't sound very authoritative and empowered.
Okay.
You want to go to this other life form as a credible, empowered human being, not as a beggar, please help me kind of thing. You don't need that. You want to go with your place of authority. We're given dominion over this planet. And that doesn't mean that we can rape and pillage at will, but it does mean that we are given authority to oversee its well-being. You are in charge. Go in your leadership mindset that I've done this. I recognize it didn't help the plant. I want to make up for it. Please tell me what I can do to make up for it. Meanwhile, here's a gift. The plant has a consciousness that's been proven in lots of scientific research. I mentioned the book, The Secret Life of the Plant, very powerful. They've hooked them up to lie detector tests, and they make the thing move and whatnot. So talk to the consciousness of the plant, and then also the elementals that look after it.
Okay, consciousness.
But you don't go as a whiny, please go, can you go do this? You want to go as a person of authority who really respects the role that they do, and you need their assistance to make it better.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure.
Yes. Can't wait to get out there.
Well, and you can do all kinds of things, but this is the kind of place where you can practice and you can experiment. Say if you've got 3 tomato plants, show me how real you are. I would like this plant to be my strongest and healthiest plant, and give presents to the divas and watch how they develop differently. You can do all kinds of things.
I'm going to be buying tobacco. I like
there's-
that idea. The
there's a-
pouch versus the cigarette butt.
Yeah, and it smells wonderful. I don't smoke, never smoke, but that fresh pouch of tobacco smells good. I mean, it really is kind of amazing. It says there are a race of aliens, not all are good. I don't know if you're talking about their elementals, or if this is change of topics, but certainly there are aliens who are having a personal agenda, as well as those who are working for the greater good. So I'm not sure what that means, Mayfer, or if you think elementals can be not so also good. I've not heard of any elementals that are working for personal agendas, so I don't know that. Who or what are the Anunnakis? I heard it mentioned during live last time, didn't catch what it is. Anunnakis, depends on which book you read, what experts you listen to. Anunnakis were a race of aliens who first inhabited the planet. Many who are professing they're the ones that are still causing havoc on the planet. Barbara Marciniak wrote a lot about the Anunnakis. I would recommend her material if you want to learn lots more about them. Stacy's one that she's always wanting to tie them with the aliens, so she does a lot of questions about the Anunnakis. But I'm sure there are YouTube clips. I tend not to group all aliens by their race, like these are the good ones and these are the bad ones. The Anunnakis are the not so good ones, because within any race, just like a human race, there are those who support the greatest good and working for everyone's highest interest. And then there are those who serve themselves and working for their own personal agenda. The Anunnakis are, I think, in that category. There are those who are really trying to slow down. Oh, okay. So she really didn't mean for me to have the question. She was trying to go for Mayfer. So go ahead. Mayfer, you can answer it if you want. But anyway, so I think understanding that there are lots of races on the planet right now. I think at last count there were over 50 races living on the planet. Some you know about, some you don't, and some are camouflaged as human beings, and some aren't. And it's really important to be mindful. And again, be in that place of discernment. You'll know who serves this planet. You'll know who doesn't. You'll know who's working for the evolution of this planet to move from third into fifth. And you'll know who's trying to stop the progress. And especially now, you can tell the ones that are pushing fear. And if they're pushing fear, pretty much they're working for personal agenda. Okay, well then I got the question, Esmeralda. So if there's more aspects of that you want to explore, let me know. Anyway. Oh gosh. Okay, it's almost 8 o'clock, so I guess this is a good time. 2 hours is a good time to close it off for tonight. Just, I think what I would like to leave you with for this week is to recognize that you are much more than you can imagine. Just to trust in your greatness. Again, I go back to the word of Jesus when he said,
Don't you know that you're gods, and these things I do, you can do these and greater still? There are a lot of forces on the planet that want to teach you and make you believe that you need them to be powerful. You need to have this teaching or this person or this product in order to have, whatever ability. That you've got to have this class or this certificate or this anything in order to have this skill. But in truth, you have it all inside you now. You have all the knowledge, all the wisdom, all the ability already as part of who you are. Your job is to remember it in this lifetime, to pull it forward from your own knowingness. I know that I know, and that I know if anything I want to know is readily available to me. Do you? Because as my spirit friend says, I am nothing special, that I am average looking, average ability, average skills, average body. They said that was my strength, because as people look at little old average me, they know that they can do it too. There are some, and in my experience as spiritual teachers, that want you to put them on a pedestal and say, they're so much better than you. They are so much more gifted or talented or knowledgeable than you are. So they make you feel less than and that you need them. Those are the ones you need to worry about, because if they're not helping you feel more empowered, more knowledgeable, more skilled, then they're not serving you. If they're trying to convert you into a follower where you have to have them in order to be your best, they're not serving you. You have to begin to really honor and respect yourself above all else, and know that you have it all already. Your job is to tap into it, tap that well of awareness that you have. My job is to help mirror that so that you can see how to do that. That I give you guidance on how to be able to tap into your abilities. But my journey has been very individual. I've worked 1 to 3 jobs at all times, full time during my spiritual journey. I had no teachers who showed me the way. It was strictly just, going within and asking myself and doing what I was feeling guided to do, or what I was being spiritually led to do as I tapped into the universal forces. And so that's what I would really recommend this week. Spend time reflecting, asking yourself questions, journaling the answers that you're receiving, and you will receive them. And then following that, it does no good to ask questions, get information, and then ignore it. They'll just turn off the sources and say, she doesn't really want it, or he doesn't really want it. So it's really important that if you ask a question, you listen to it. You still have free will to say, does this serve me? Do I want to do this or not? But it's really important that you tap into your own greatness and begin to honor that, because you are so much more than you can imagine. When I see people, it's almost like I see them in their greatness, in their divine self, and I see all the ways they're wrapped in their own chains and limitations, and how they hold themselves back. And just this week, make the intention to release everything that holds you back and live in your greatness, and do what you feel guided to do, which is going to be push out of your comfort zone. You're going to be guided to do things that you go, oh, I don't know if I can do that. Just take a breath and know that you can. So this week, stretch yourself. Stretch yourself big. And I'm seeing the chat. If anybody has anything that they want to say in the chat or speak up, you can unmute yourself and just chime in. And if not, then we'll just close out for the evening. Be your greatness. Can you ask angels? Yeah, but the angels can't do anything you can't do. But
Cool.
you have tons of support systems, from the angels to your guides to your helpers to, so you can ask for help from any source that you want, but know that you have everything you need, that you don't need them. They're just a nice asset.
But if you ask them to like speak to you, they could be speaking to you, but if you're not open to that receptiveness or channel, then you're not going to get it.
If you're not listening, that's why you have to give yourself quiet time in order to listen. If you're busy running around and you've got your day packed with stuff, you're not going to hear any messages until you get so good at hearing that you recognize it. But you won't start hearing it when you're busy. You have to make a space for listening. And so, and for me, 5 minutes, I'm not talking you sit for an hour, but just to, ask your questions, sit down and just listen. Napoleon Hill, who is one of the people that I greatly admire, it talked about, he talked about the skills that these very successful people had. And one of the things that many of them did was sitting for answers, and they would go into quiet. They would have within their world a closet or a small area they could go into and just shut out the world, and they would just sit, and they would have tablets, and they would write what I would call journaling, but they would just write questions and answers and stuff, but they were sitting for answers. And so that's a form of listening. So whether you're listening with paper and pencil, or you're just listening in some other means, for a while I was directed to listen with a tape recorder, so that I would listen and then I would repeat what I was hearing into the tape recorder. So I've got lots of cassettes from the good old days of recording, because it was about learning how to let the information come to me and through me. And so there's lots of ways of listening. You just have to do it. And if you're not hearing, then just, you can ask the angels to turn up your hearing aids, so that you can listen and hear it more carefully. But you all have lots and lots and lots of support. Esmeralda says, I get messages and songs and posters. When I'm driving, I will get messages from other cars that I'm seeing coming down the road, like, and they will give me like philosophical things as I'm driving. So you'll get messages in all kinds of ways whenever you're listening, whenever you're open to them. But it just reinforces your divine connection. You are all powerful. You are all knowing. And the more you can open up to that part within you that knows that, the more you can use that information and build on it. And then the more you do, the more you trust yourself, the more you trust yourself, the more you trust your connection, the more you trust your connection, the more you trust the world around you. And then lo and behold, the more empowered you become. Are you ready to walk on water? Are you ready to calm the storm? It's a choice. And if helping a song that inspires you, empowers you, great. If it's some other thing, that's great too. There's all kinds of ways. Just be open to it. Pay attention this week at how it works for you. All right. And I love you all. And you have a wonderful week. Feel free to send me, Esmeralda, I expect an email from you to remind me to see if I can find that file somewhere. That file exists. And if not, when I unload at the other end side, I'll find it. So anyway, love you all.
Thank you. Love you too. Thank
Have
you
a
so
wonderful week. This first week of July, 2021.
much.
Take care. All right.
Okay.
Now I've got to
you too.
remember. All right.